BEDTIME
Beauty and the Beast. Once upon a time, a merchant came back from a long journey. It was dark and very cold, and he was soon lost. He came to a castle. There was an open door, and he went inside. "Hello, hello," he called. There was no one there. A cozy fire was burning in the fireplace, and yummy food was on the table. He started eating and hoped he would see the person who owned the castle so he could thank them. After he had eaten, he lay down on a comfy couch. Then, with a big yawn, he was soon fast asleep. It was morning when he woke up. "Hello, hello," he called. But no one answered. He went out into the garden. It was sunny and warm, although it was wintertime outside the castle. There were flowers growing everywhere he looked. He picked a rose for his daughter Beauty. She was a very kind girl and very beautiful. Suddenly, he heard a very angry and frightening voice. "How dare you pick my flowers? You stayed in my castle last night. Is this how you thank me?" The merchant turned around, and there stood a big, ugly and frightening beast with big, sharp teeth and a hairy face. "What will you do to make up for stealing my rose?" asked the beast. The merchant was very frightened and said, "I picked it for my lovely daughter Beauty, and I didn't think anyone would mind." The beast was still angry and said, "That is no excuse." "I'm really sorry," said the merchant. "Bring your daughter here and I might forgive you," said the beast. The merchant set off home as fast as he could. He told Beauty about the castle and the beast. She said, "Of course I will come back with you, father." Back at the castle, they went into the room where he had stayed the night. A warm fire was burning in the fireplace and some yummy food on the table, just like before. As they ate their meal, heavy footsteps came near. The ugly beast came into the room, and Beauty was very frightened. But she smiled and said, "Good evening, beast." The beast smiled back and said, "Good evening, you must be Beauty." Then the beast said to the merchant, "Your daughter is so beautiful that she lights up my old castle. Please let her stay here for a while. She will be very safe here." That night in her cozy bed, Beauty had a funny dream about a talking clock and a candlestick that said, "Hello." She even dreamt that there was a nice teapot lady who was kind to her. Then in her dream, she thought she heard the teapot lady say, "Beauty, you are loved by a handsome prince. Try to find him and you will be very happy together." When Beauty woke up, she laughed when she remembered the talking clock and the kind teapot. That evening, after supper, the beast came into the room. She was still a bit frightened, but all the beast said was, "Good evening, Beauty." Then the beast handed her a rose. "This came from my garden," he said. "Oh, good evening, beast," she smiled. "Thank you. What a lovely flower." "Good night then, Beauty," said the beast, a bit sadly. The next evening after supper, the beast appeared and handed her a book to read. "I think you will like this story, Beauty. I loved it," he said. "Thank you so much," said Beauty. "You are very kind." "Good night then," said the beast, and off he went. "He can't help being a bit ugly, but he's really very gentle and kind inside," thought Beauty. "I'm not afraid of him anymore, and I have grown to like him a lot. It's what's inside that really matters." Beauty loved looking in the beautiful gardens and hearing all the birds singing in the trees. One day in the garden, she found an envelope with her name on it. Inside was a note which said, "Dear Beauty, please pick all the flowers you want." One evening, Beauty waited for the beast to come to her at supper time as he usually did. But he didn't appear. She got worried and looked everywhere in the castle. But there was no sign of him. Although it was getting a bit dark, she went out into the garden. She looked all around, but still no sign of the beast. She was getting very worried by now. Then, at the far edge of the garden, she saw a cave. "I wonder if he's in there," she thought to herself. She went in, and there was the beast lying on the ground with a great big bump on his head. And his cheeks had tears running down them. He looked like he was asleep, and she stroked his head. He didn't move or even open his eyes. She kissed his forehead. "Oh, poor dear beast," she thought to herself. Then the beast opened his eyes. "Oh, I must have banged my head coming into the cave," said the beast. "I do love you after all," said Beauty. "Oh, Beauty, will you marry me?" asked the beast. "Yes, dear beast," she answered. Suddenly, the cave was lit with beautiful light. The beast had changed into a handsome prince with a great big smile on his face. He said, "A wicked witch put a spell on me to turn me into a beast. But you said you loved me, and now the spell is broken." As they went back into the castle, Beauty noticed a teapot like the one in her dream. And just for a moment, she thought the teapot winked at her. Soon they were married, and Beauty and the prince lived happily ever after. The end.